and welcome. My name is Kate and you're watching Ripper Seams. So here we are, second installment. If you're here watching again and you watched my first one, thank you so much for returning. That means a lot to me. And if you even subscribed, well, you're an absolute superstar and I really appreciate the support in helping me grow my channel. So if you are watching and you haven't subscribed, go ahead, push that button, and that way you can get my videos kind of automatically set in your feed and you don't have to go looking for them. So yeah, push that button and let's get into it. This is a Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt, which I absolutely love. It is made out of a quilting cotton made by Ruby Star Society, which I picked up from Crafty Mastermind, and it is these wonderful, crazy mushrooms and kind of like psychedelic clouds behind them. As soon as I saw this fabric, I knew straight away it had to come home with me, and I thought the Donny shirt would be the absolute perfect thing to wear as a really cool, open, breezy top to wear in the hotter weather. And I was not wrong. I wear this top constantly. Before we get stuck into talking about the things I made this week, let's get into this awesome pile of stuff. I do have a sizable load of fabric here, which has primarily come from the spring sales that have been going on and have finally made their way to me. But I do have a couple of fabrics which I picked up at the Stitch Festival, which I thought I'd sneak in and share here as well. So the first fabric I've got to share is this beautiful dragon viscose fabric from Rainbow Fabrics. Look at these beautiful blue dragons. I absolutely love them, especially given that we've got these beautiful flowers kind of mixed in with them. Really nice and drapey, and I can just see this as a wonderful dress for summer. At the moment I've got a Seasons of East Summer in New York dress flag. For this, that was my initial intention. I've got 3 meters of it, which will fit that dress perfectly. Although, you know, other dresses exist, I might just keep my eyes open on what I might want to turn this into. It all depends on how this print is really going to be showcased. So yeah, that was my first purchase from the Stitch Festival. The only other fabric which I got from the Stitch Festival, I was pretty good this year, was this one here. It is a quilting cotton in this fun Day of the Dead Fiesta print. It's got this nice buttery yellow base to it, and it's got this, the skeletons are all here in black. Now this is from the Emporia Patterns stand. I've got 2 meters of it. It is 145 centimeters wide, which is a bit wider than traditional quilting cottons. So I'm pretty excited that I've got this. It was going to be some sort of kind of tropical shirt, but I think given I've got quite a lot of fabric here, it could actually be something else. So if you've got any ideas of patterns that you might have for this one, what would you turn this into? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your suggestions, because I'm kind of stuck on ideas other than having a tropical shirt. So if you've got a fun idea that I might want to try, yeah, just let me know. So whilst I was at the Emporia Pattern stand, I also picked up the Tony shirt, and I'm pretty stoked because he's signed it as well. I've been wondering what Tony has been wearing now on his Instagram, and I think I know which one it is. So I'm excited to give this one a go. So I do have a plan for that, and that kind of brings me into my next fabric. So the next fabric I've got is this beautiful creamy cotton poplin fabric from Stitch Fabrics. Now I've been eyeing this off for quite a while now. I saw it at the Stitch Festival. I didn't get it at the time, and when I went to go back and get it, it wasn't there, but it was still on their website. So I finally folded and got 4 meters of this. It's just stunning with these beautiful big tropical leaves and flowers. It's just screaming summer to me, and I can't wait to make this into a dress. Now the dress I do have in mind is the Mabel dress by Tilly and the Buttons, because in the pattern that they have, and also they had on display at the Stitch Festival, they have the longer version of the dress made up in a fabric godmother fabric, which has the black base and the nice beautiful colorful flowers kind of running horizontally across the bodice piece and then vertically down the dress. I'm going to do the same thing here, so having that bigger thick panel kind of running over the bodice and then draping it all down there. Now it is cream, it's pretty solid, but I think it will need lining, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it and see how it goes. But at the moment, I'm pretty excited to get this made up. Now, to match that lovely cream fabric in that print, that tropical print, I also picked up the black colorway as well. Now, I've got 2.5 meters of this one, and the plan was to make a matching men's shirt to go along with my dress. That was the original plan. However, this is in a very, very fine lawn. It is so fine, it's almost see-through. I don't think I've seen a lawn this thin before, but it's absolutely divine. Now, when I showed my husband, he wasn't that keen on having a shirt made up in a fabric this fine. He said that if it was in the poplin, it would have been perfect, but he didn't like the pattern so much in the cream. I think if it was the brown flowers in the cream and not with the pink in it, I think it would have been more up his alley. So this one is now going to be mine. I've got 2.5 meters, so if you've got any ideas, please let me know. This one was also £4 a meter, so yeah, can't go wrong really. So the next lot of fabric was an exciting purchase because I was fortunate enough to win a lovely gift voucher as part of the Pogo Knit party that was run by Christine of Gemini Stitches. Now that voucher was for Jenny Stitches. I just ooh and ah over her fabrics on a regular basis, so it was fun to give me that incentive to go in there and pick something up. So with my gift voucher, I ended up getting 3 meters of this beautiful viscose chalet in this grass green color with all these wonderful spring colored flowers on there. I think it's absolutely stunning and just really nice and floaty fabric, perfect for spring and summer coming up. Now, what I want to make out of it is a Davenport dress by Friday Pattern Company. I have made that once before. It was a good pattern. I enjoyed making it. It just was in the wrong fabric. I made it in cotton gingham, and as much as it came out really nice, it was a really good learning experience. The dress wasn't for me, so I think it needs to be in a drapier fabric, and this is what I'm going to make it up with. So the other fabric I got from Jenny Stitches is this wonderful viscose linen. Now, I have been eyeing this off for months now, and given there wasn't that much left, I thought now is the chance for me to strike, otherwise I will never see it again. So I have 1.5 meters of this. At this point in time, I don't have anything specific to make with this, so if you've got any ideas on what this might look good as, or if you've made something yourself out of this fabric, let me know, because I'll be open to all sorts of ideas on what to do with this one. But at the moment, I'm just happy to have it in my stash. So let's take a look at what I've managed to make this week. In my first video, I mentioned that I had 4 things on the agenda to try and get made up this week, and I can tell you now I've only managed to make 2, and this is one of them, and this is the Effie blouse by Style Arc. Now, I really enjoy making this blouse. It's quite simple, with all the drama appearing in the lovely kind of ruffled bell sleeves that come down from the elbow. Now, I've made this one in a Lady McElroy crepe fabric. I think it's a Lena crepe, but you know what? Right up until recently, I thought this was viscose. It was only today when I started looking to verify that this was Lady McElroy that it is actually 100% polyester, and I think that's where all the drama that I had making it came from. It's all right. I didn't burn a hole in it like I did with my first version. So this is my first version of the Style Arc Effie. Now, this is what I thought was a cotton fabric. It's not. It is a cotton polyester. I should have guessed when I first started ironing and all this kind of light puckering happened. I just thought it was like the effect of the fabric. I hadn't really noticed it. But when I first made this, it came up like a dream. It fits really nicely. So the Effie top, it has front bust darts, just some little subtle ones on the side here. It's got this lovely high scoop neck. There's no puff in the sleeve, but where all the drama is in this lovely ruffle kind of bell sleeve at the end. It is 3/4 length, and it hits just above the wrist, and this ruffle hits from the elbow. It's quite a long top, so I'm 5'3". I prefer to tuck all my blouses into my jeans or pants, whatever I'm wearing at the time. So for me, I don't adjust the length. If you're someone who is interested in making this but prefers to have them out, you may want to shorten it. But otherwise, it's a great back. On the back, there is like a little button closure with a rouleau loop. This is very much functional. I can't get my head in unless I use this button closure here. Overall, a nice, relatively easy make. There is a sew along that Style Arc provides via a QR code on the front of their pattern if you need it, but I found the instructions quite straightforward if you just follow them step by step. So yeah, I enjoyed this make, but again, this is polyester. So right towards the end, I was literally pressing it just before I was about to hem it, and thinking it was cotton, had it on quite high heat. And what I did was I managed to burn holes in it. Look at that. Because it was just off the side, I thought, you know what, that's not really noticeable, but it kind of was. So what I ended up doing was taking a scrap of fabric that I had left over. So I cut out a square and I patched it on the back, lining up those gingham stripes. I was lucky it was in gingham because I was able to match it up perfectly. So now when you have it on this side, despite the fact that there's like a little melted bit around the squares, you can't really see that there's a hole in it because it's kind of consistent with the colouring. So far, I've got away without anybody noticing that that is there, and I'm so glad I was able to fix it and make this a very wearable garment. How does that lead into this one? Yes, this is 100% polyester. So when I started to iron it, it wasn't doing well under the ironing, so I quickly turned that iron down, suspecting that this was probably not viscose, it was polyester. It was slipping all over the place. It was fraying really badly. It was driving me crazy. I swapped out to using a Microtex needle, which didn't really help me at all, but I powered through. And this is probably the reason why I only made 2 things this week, because I had to just stop and do this in stages because I was getting a bit frustrated. And what I did differently on this top was with the sleeves. So on this one here, because of the gingham, it is kind of double-sided, so it didn't really matter that you could see the reverse on this side because it was, yeah, it just blended in nicely. On this one, this fabric here is actually quite grey on the bottom side, and I didn't want that to show inside these lovely sleeves. Now, you normally would do a narrow hem down the bottom, but what I did instead was, instead of cutting just the outside single sleeve, I cut 4 of these sleeves in total, so 2 for each arm. And I kind of just double faced it and created a big loop that was interfaced on the inside and kind of sewed it up that way. It does make it a little bit heavier around the sleeve, but you know what, in this nice drapey fabric, it's quite light as it is, and you know what, it looks absolutely beautiful. Everything about this pattern has been a dream, so I do recommend making it if you think this is your style and you want to give it a try. So the second make I completed this week was this one here, which is the McCalls M8144. And this is the second version of this pattern I made in the past week. The first one being this one, which I talked about last week, which is the cropped version. Now this one here is in a Lady McElroy knit fabric, which is kind of got a dusky rose base with like gold lurex going through it, but it also has this silver raised kind of diamond texture on there, which completely catches the light. It's such an interesting fabric, but it's also really, really loose and drapey. Now this version here has the straight sleeve, which kind of tapers to the end to just a rolled over cuff, and there is an attached cuff to the bottom of this one here. Now it is quite long for me. It looks great with leggings actually, and just like a really nice loungewear item, but it totally elevates when you can wear it with jeans, and I actually tuck it into jeans and just make it more of a blousey top, and it looks really great with that. So really pleased with how this turned out. The only thing I would change next time, I probably could make it a little bit shorter, and the sleeves could also be a few inches shorter for me. Like I mentioned before, I'm 5'3". I haven't got the longest of limbs, so for me, I think there could be some adjustment here. But because I'm using it as loungewear, like glam loungewear as that, I think this is totally acceptable. Just goes to show that like one pattern can be so versatile depending on which fabric you use and which cut you do. This is a shorter version with the bishop sleeve, which comes with the pattern. Really like this. And last week, I had decided that I was just going to leave the edge of this raw. I changed my mind and I just did a quick turn up just to neaten that edge up, and I just ran a simple stitch around the bottom. I'm quite pleased I did that, but both of them I'm glad to have in my wardrobe, and these will get good use. Definitely in this weather because it's quite cold, so if you just want to put some tracksuit pants on and these tops, it's kind of like an elevated look for just wearing around home. So those are my 2 makes of the week. Really pleased with how they turned out. 2 very different pieces which should get lots of wear in my wardrobe. Now I wasn't upset that I didn't get the other 2 done because that's just stuff I get to do next. If you've got any ideas on what patterns might suit some of the fabric that I mentioned earlier, do put them down in the comments below. I'd love to find out what they are and explore different options for those fabrics, which I've got kind of broaden my mind about what they might turn into. And also, have you managed to burn a hole in something you were making? And if so, how did you fix it? I'd love to know about that as well, so I can feel a little bit calmer that I'm not the only person that makes these mistakes. So yeah, leave a comment there, I'd love to hear. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up to let me know I have done a good job and you would like to see more. And if you would like to see more, make sure you click on that subscribe button so these videos will pop up in your feed going forward. Now you can also follow me on Instagram. I am Ripper Seams, and you can check out all my makes that I'm making throughout the week on there. And with that, I wish you a wonderful week of sewing, and I'll see you in the next video.